There are some exceptions, but we don't see people from the Iraq Veterans Against the War on television. We don't see military families speak out. Peace Now, Jews, how often do they get on television? You know, the progressive voice is silenced in this country. There's no other way to put it. We just don't like them. They're scolds. They're complaining all the time. They don't see anything good about America. This is what Richard Cohn is essentially saying. We don't see anything. In other words, if you dissent, you don't love America. And somehow, after $1 billion of expense on this and beating the drum about this, the liberal has become the political idea that dare not speak its name.
But a quick question on Ellen Spiro. Had she done other work like this?
Oh yes, she's done several documentaries, and but it still was a leap of faith for her. And I called her cold, and I said, "Hey, I'm Phil Donahue. Thank God she recognized me." And we met at the Kansas City airport and went over to see Thomas, and she just bought this with both hands. Right, and her work has been fabulous.
Here's this catheter clip.
I can urinate. I can push out urine, but I don't push it all out. A lot of it still stays stored in my bladder. And so the reason for the cathing is to insert a catheter into my penis to drain out that excess urine. Because if it's kept in there, it will crystallize and harden and play a part in urinary tract infections.
Okay, what do I need to do?
All right. I'm going to lift up and you're going to sit down under me.
Okay.
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 Oh, this is hard to do from this angle. Help me out here, Mom?
Yeah.
Must be hard to do. I may need to change those. Okay, now, in this bag, you're going to take this lube out.
Okay.
Instead of lubing up the end of that, you're going to lube the head of the penis.
Okay.
Because it uses less lube. You're just going to lube right over the hole.
Like that?
And now you're just going to insert the catheter. And I really kind of wanted you to put the glove on the hand that was going to put the catheter in. But, okay. You seriously can push it a little quicker than that.
Oh, no, I can't.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've never done this before.
Okay.
Is it coming out?
Yeah, it's coming out.
Oh.
Hey, Mom. We generally tend to watch what goes on up there.
I'm trying to move it so it doesn't just go everywhere.
Good plan. I saw it that worked swimmingly. Look at that. You got pee on your hand.
I know. You know what? It's not the first time I've had your pee on my hand.
How much of that do you think goes on for, whether 30,000 wounded in Iraq, Americans wounded in Iraq?
Well, paraplegics cannot control body functions, either from the waist down. Thomas is the chest down. This is the sacrifice that the American people don't see. And we still have people out there banging this drum. And while this administration is chipping away at the bedrock of this nation, free speech is kind of a quaint idea to these people. It's not really practical at times of war. You have to shut up and sing. The opposite is true. Thousands and thousands of Americans went to fight and die on foreign battlefields to protect our way of life. At the center of that way of life is free speech. And when we need it the most, when we're running up to a war, we're told to shut up and sing.
Did you ever serve in the military?
I never did. We became pregnant in, my first child was born in '59, in January '59. And that was around the time you had to register, and I registered. But draft age fathers were not being drafted at the time.
How many children did you have?
5.
By your first wife?
Mm-hmm.
And what year did you marry Marlo Thomas?
Marlo Thomas and I married in 1980. We are about to celebrate our 28th anniversary.
No children?
No children, no.
And if there is a profit in this thing, it goes to the St. Jude's Hospital?
No. No. That's Marlowe jumps out of cakes all over America, raising over $500 million a year just to keep this hospital.
So it doesn't, I mean, because one article
the hospital,
had that in there.
Yeah, no, this is a very political film that Marlo Thomas's husband has co-directed, and profits have already gone to the IVAW, Iraq Veterans Against the War. By the way, that song you heard, No More, I met Eddie Vedder, of Pearl Jam, and I had been on the Nader bus with him in 2000. I wasn't in 04. And I met him just by accident, a little over a year ago. I said, Eddie, I'm doing an anti-Iraq war documentary. He says, you want a song? And I couldn't believe it. I said, he comes to my apartment in New York, watches a very loose assembly of our film, goes home to Seattle, calls Thomas, talks to him for more than an hour, and in 4 days I had the signature song for our film, No More, part of which you saw during that demonstration in Washington. I mean, for free. I've been so lucky, I tell you, Brian. And Thomas has been asked by Sire Records and Eddie Vedder to put together an album of anti-war songs. And it's out. It's a double album called Body of War. Thomas's pictures on the cover of the CD. Bruce Springsteen, John Lennon. I mean, the people, Eddie's No More is on the, so that's a lucky break, because I'm in the music world now. We've been in Billboard. Holy cow. And we're going to need every bit of this to make this fly.
What's the DVD eventually going to sell for the general public?
How much is a DVD? It may be $15.
And do you have a website that you're set up around this?
Bodyofwar.com. Bodyofwar.com. Let's make the case here that our film was produced by me and co-directed by Ellen Spiro and myself. The record comes out by way of Sire Records, and they are committing their profits to good causes and anti-war causes.
The next clip uses a lot of our video, which you'll see, and it's about the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which we cover every year, plus all the other dinners in town. So let's watch and see how you do this.
Weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
I said to him the other day, George, if you really want to end tyranny in the world, you're going to have to stay up later. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a desperate housewife.
They're so insulated. They don't want to know about people like Thomas.
How you doing, buddy?
And the 4 or 5% of the population that is actually sacrificing for this war.
There are risks of action, but there are also risks of inaction.
The risk of inaction is worse than the risk of action.
Inaction is more costly than action.
There will be no action that we could possibly take that's going to get the support of people who will always find an excuse for doing nothing when it takes courage to step forward.
If the Iraqi regime is able to produce, buy, or steal
Mr. Nichols,
an amount of highly enriched uranium a little larger than a single softball,
Mr. Reed of Nevada,
it could have a nuclear weapon in less than a year.
Mr. Roberts,
The estimates are publicly that it could have a nuclear weapon in less than a year.
A nuclear weapon would take no longer than a few months to produce.
A matter of months.
I plead with the American people, let your voice be heard.
Mr. Rockefeller, aye. Mr. Santorum, aye.
You need to be heard. You have a right to be heard. You have questions that should be asked and answered.
Mr. Schumer. Aye. Mr. Sessions. Aye.
Let the leadership of this Congress know that you don't want this resolution rammed through this Congress before the election. The life of your son may depend upon it. The life of your daughter may depend upon it. Get out there and let this leadership know.
Mr. Shelby. Aye. Mr. Smith of New Hampshire. Aye. Mr. Smith of Oregon. Aye. Ms. Snow. Aye. Mr. Specter. Aye.
Let the hills and the mountains and the valleys reverberate with the sound of your voices. It's your country. Stand for it now. People out there, speak out.